Welcome to the VE-Cast, a Vendux podcast titled The Next Stage CEO. Today, I'm joined by Michael Falato, founder and CEO of Full Throttle Falato Leads, a mouthful.
Yeah, but
In
now it's GTM Full Throttle. Now I changed kind of the outreach to more of a go-to-market strategy.
Michael is based in Florida,
Yeah.
and he brings 25 or more years of enterprise sales experience to the table. Before he started Full Throttle as a B2B lead gen firm, building top of funnel pipeline via LinkedIn automation, high volume email, AI targeting, and other things. He's
hmm
also a US Air Force veteran and a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt.
Jiu-jitsu black belt. Yeah, black belt.
Yes, Michael, welcome to the VE-Cast.
Thank you, thank you.
Wonderful. So, after 25 years in enterprise sales, what did you see in the market that made you launch Full Throttle?
I was working at a IT company that also did staffing, also did boots on the ground, and they didn't have anything set up. Playbook, lead gen, salespeople. It was all founder led, so I was starting to do it there. And I realized that I can do this faster, better, cheaper than most people. And I already lost and learned things that I needed to lost and learn at and succeeded. So that I basically started doing it there and then kind of slow rolled it into a company. And when I got to about 12 to 15,000 a month, I'm like, I'm not going to do this full time. So I did part time, and then I did part time. I did half time, and then half time, and then they hired me as their lead gen guy. So it was great. I was actually making more money a month doing it as an independent contractor approach than I was working there. So
Hmm.
it's just I built a repeatable, scalable approach using email, LinkedIn, roundtable, masterminds, podcast that is more of a give to get versus a pitch slap approach. And most people don't know how to talk to people in email or LinkedIn, or don't know how to scrape other events that give you intent data, signal data.
So, lead generation is the headline. What's the core problem you're solving for B2B clients today?
Spend more time selling, less time hunting. You know, use fish where people fish is a common thing. Like, why are you trying to convert people that don't even like try to get new customers? But if they're say a conference, a trade show, they're getting a booth. Why do you think they're getting a booth? They're looking for leads. So why wouldn't you go to a big trade show conference, look at all exhibitors and go, hey, I'm going to be at this trade show conference. I wanted to see if we could set up a time either before, during, or after the conference. By the way, I'm putting together a roundtable before, like this company Saster that we just did, or Possible or Emerge. Would you like to be part of that as a guest? But I need to talk to you before you get on the roundtable to see if it's a good fit, Steve. I mean, I got 15 Zoom calls every day by doing it, by making them feel good, but also saying, I need to make sure you're a good fit. And all this is true. But if I said, hey, I do lead gen, let's talk. I mean, I'm one of 15,000 emails they get every day about lead gen. So that's why I took the name of Full Throttle Falato Leads and changed it to GTM Full Throttle, because realistically, I'm building a whole go-to-market strategy, not doing lead gen only. That's a dirty word now. So,
Yeah. So, you already described a little bit how you got started,
mhm.
uh, but then after you then made the commitment to say, I'm going to build a business around it, how was that first year? What are the things that really shaped and laid the foundation for your success?
Always looking for new solutions and products. I was just doing email. Then I saw people using LinkedIn automation. Didn't know what that was at all. I
Mm.
wasn't doing that when I was at my full-time job. And then saw people doing roundtables, but doing it horribly. Like doing like, let's do five people doing roundtables. Five people, it's not a roundtable. Five people is just kind of like a little speaker panel talking amongst yourself. I have one that's coming up that's just 250 people on it of executives. That's a lot. We'll see how many people show. Usually it's about 30%, but the whole idea is, what do you do? How do you do it? What have you learned? And what would you do that's different over the last 6 months? And it's like asking those questions, talking about AI and all those things. People will never stop talking about that stuff. So I don't have to come up and come up with a game plan for every roundtable. People's content, comments. I learn about all these different tools too every time. Claude and Beautiful, and um, I'm using a thing called Delphi.ai, which is making me a digital twin of me. I never would find out these things because I'm not out and about talking to people at trade shows all the time, but I built my own conference, which is roundtables. So now I'm going to start selling advertising, like sponsorship on top of it. But realistically, my main way of making revenue is being that go-to-market strategist and charging what you'd pay a kid to do lead gen for you or strategy, which is about $5K a month, which is way cheaper than having a full-time employee that does it, that's not that good at it because that's their first or second job.
How do you think your Air Force background or the black belt experience helped you shape the business, help you grow the business?
Well, I think with jiu-jitsu, it's like losing when you learn. It's the only reason why you get to a black belt is because you get tapped. So if you're going to lose fast and learn from it. The military, I had to go to the Air Force Reserves and join that. I did it for 12 years because I needed to pay for college and I wanted to serve my country. So there's a good quote by Yoda. There is no try. You either do or you don't. And that's kind of how I've been built. And the Full Throttle nickname came for me from jiu-jitsu. So it's like Full Throttle in jiu-jitsu, going hard like I do because I was a wrestler, makes complete sense of me as a sales guy or a company. So that's kind of how I got the Full Throttle nickname.
Yeah. Now, how did you just described how you changed your company name? What's the background behind that move?
Be more strategic, more of a consultative approach. A lot of the deliverables are similar to the same, but I'm working with my friend Pete Sinitas from GTM Heroes, and he has built a kind of like a go-to ABM approach research solution. And so I kind of got the movement and thoughts around from that, my friend. And again, I'm building a lot more than just lead gen. I'm developing your whole strategy around the whole top of funnel. So it's still top of funnel. I'm not doing like all the playbooks and integrations and all that stuff, right? There's people that do that API integration stuff. And we can do that, but it's not my forte. My forte is coming up with good ideas, be a creative agency, be a interactive agency, and also be a place where you can get leads, right? But that's not the only thing that you should judge me on.
Yeah. So how big is the company today in terms of the number of people, either contractors or employees or AI agents that work in the business?
There's about 3 full-time and another 10 that are real people that are agents of mine, and I'm using their LinkedIn. It's a good thing to think about. Like, how do I grow my company without growing headcount? And I use my daughter's friends, my ex-wife's friends, and use their LinkedIn, and they're my marketing manager on LinkedIn. But realistically, I'm taking their LinkedIn, automating it, and reaching out to people, and they're just another profile. Because first of all, you don't want to make a fake profile. Secondly, if you do get a profile that you can use, make sure you clean up the headshot, use AI. And then thirdly is like, again, hit people that you can't hit on yours because you have, like me, I have 30,000 connections right now. I can't go any further. So I need to start, like my kids have 10,000 connections and they're 20 and 22. That's more than most people I know.
Yeah. So if you're engaging your family in the business, I guess hiring wasn't that much of a challenge. You knew the people well that you brought into the business.
Yeah. But the whole idea is repeatable and scalable approach using bots, automation, and repeatable and scalable approach. That's how you make money, not let me hire more people and grow this company. What I have mostly right now are people that are handling the accounts because I don't want to do all the busy work.
Yeah.
I want to do the strategy work and the sales, and then don't do everything yourself as a founder-led company.
Yeah. Well, you're not only founder led, but you're also the brand. Your name
Yeah,
is
I'm the
brand.
brand, but I'm changing it from GTM to GTM Full Throttle versus Full Throttle Falato.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to keep both names just because right now I'm not for sure how to section it off the right way.
Yeah.
But I think having both approaches, I mean, it's realistically the same outputs. I'm just explaining it a little bit differently, So,
Yeah. You
yeah.
you described earlier the things that you did to grow the business, the steps that you took, the things that worked. Um, are there things that didn't work out well for you that you did, but that didn't produce the results you were looking for?
I think I was letting everybody book me for a pre-call before they got on the roundtable. I had a lot of people that were solopreneurs that are just starting out or they're bootstrapped, and I don't want to. No offense, I just don't want to set my time to have them do a pre-call with me to get on my roundtable. They can join the roundtable, but I don't need to interview them because the interview for me is more like, hey, I want to kind of discover what you do and see if it's a good fit for me to actually work with you and make money with each other. And usually that type of client that doesn't, it's more self-ran or is only going to make 200,000-300,000 a year. They're not going to spend 4,000 or 5,000 a month doing lead gen, or they can only handle 3 clients and they're done. So that's not a good fit. Or they only have 200 clients to go after because they sell to the government. Not a good fit. For me, they have to have at least probably a seed round, and they have to have a product that's not $99 a month and $1,200 a year. And basically, they need to basically have someone that could do meetings and do a roundtable. And really, the podcast is a great way to get the executives on a call as well. Because most people won't do a roundtable if they're CEO, right? CRO
Yeah.
in a mid-sized company. They're not gonna get on the roundtable.
Yeah, not mid-size, no.
No,
Um,
light enterprise, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, you described time as a bottleneck because you said you didn't want to spend time with people on calls that weren't potential clients.
Yeah, I mean that's everybody. You work smart, efficiently.
What other bottlenecks did you experience in the growth journey of the business?
Um, just maybe the change, right? AI change. What are you thinking of next, Michael? What are you bringing to the table that's different? I'm like, you don't always have to have a new product. I mean, if you just follow what I say about the podcast, roundtable, masterminds, intent data, fish where people fish, look at events, scraping other people's events. I've actually started a partner program where we take, and I think you and I did that in the past, where I take someone else's LinkedIn, I do my LinkedIn, we join forces and do a roundtable. I mean, if you are a company, whether you're using me or not, go find someone that has the same people you sell to and ask them to do a joint event,
Yeah,
roundtable, dinner locally, a pre-dinner before a conference, whatever. But they have 5,000 connections, you have 5,000 connections. Take that, automate it, and build some sort of, hey, I trust Henning's people, you trust Michael's people, and we're introducing cross-mingling, cross-streaming that.
yeah,
So it works all the time for me, or like every day.
yeah. Now, do you have visions where the company grows to a point where you personally are not involved on a day-to-day basis, running roundtables, doing all those things?
My kids are going to have to step up their game. I mean, I'm very particular. I'm very passionate and emotional and engaged, and it's like some of them don't even want to make phone calls. Like you got to do some phone calls once in a while. But I don't see that. I mean, I have 15 more years of doing this at least, according to my soon-to-be ex-wife. So I got to pay for the alimony.
And you got the runway left where you
Yeah, yeah,
and the energy it seems to be doing another 15 years. Um,
maybe.
as you look back now, are there things that you would have done differently when you started out or in the early years?
Um, I don't know, I think you lose and you learn. So I don't know if I would take back a lot of stuff. Um, I'd say my biggest regret is just taking on too many meetings and shaking at the end of the day, like going, I can't go at this pace, but I have to because I need to make money. where I should have been like, all right, I still have to follow up with people, and I need to talk to people that need to talk to me, not just talk to people that just to see if they're, if they're a coach, great, but a coach has 3 clients, they're never going to be a client of mine, and they might have someone. They need to be partners, like in the roundtable, not me taking 30 minutes out doing a discovery call.
Yeah.
So just working more smart. I've always been a guy kind of worked too fast, and sometimes needed to slow down. I mean, that's the biggest criticism I ever got from everybody. It's like, you're an awesome lead gen guy, an awesome hunter, but slow down a little bit and spend the time also cultivating. And I've closed millions of dollars in the quarter for Monster.com and all these other. I mean, I send the NFL, the AT&T, UFC at my last 3 companies. So I know what I'm doing. I just I'm not a go slow guy. So not a good fit for me to sell something that takes 3 years to close and it's $1 million deal. My whole thing was anywhere from 50 to 400,000 a year is what I could sell fast. It wasn't moving mountains, and I don't like the whole steering committee. Let me get my 8 people. I mean, I was doing that in when I was at what's it called, Job Fight, which was telemetry. It's like we were in Boeing, not Boeing, North Lockheed, and Bank of America, and all these great companies. But there's 12 of us selling, another 30 people in the room trying to figure out who's going to be the agency of record for recruitment marketing and stuff. And it's like, this is not fun for me. I mean, I don't even have a big role in this pitch because it's an ad agency or it's a technology. So my whole thing, work for yourself, make some money, have fun, and be your own boss. That's what I would suggest everybody do. Figure it out. Do not sit there and work your butt off for the rest of your life working for somebody else, because you're going to get fired at one point. And what are you going to do? I have 10 clients, 15 clients. I might lose 1 or 2, but I still have 12 more. So replace them. You won't be stressing out. And then you can start, taking off Fridays and doing your own thing and let someone else, do the admin work or the client success work.
Yeah. As somebody who places executives into small businesses, I have to ask, have you ever considered bringing in somebody to help on the sales side of the business to do what you're doing?
I have people that I use for that, and that's what that whole LinkedIn approach that I did in the past is. Those are my trusted advisor sales partners.
Yeah.
That I'm doing something for them and they're doing something for me. I don't even have to pay them. So I have a way of doing that on that side. But as far as staffing goes, I mean, I learned about companies that are growing really fast. That's where I could bring in like a guy like yourself and go, hey, I could source those people for people. I do that too. I have a recruiting background, but I don't want to. I don't want to play matchmaker because it's people don't realize how much recruiting takes time from the job seeker and the employer. That's the sales job, double-ended, and now you got emotions and passions and their wife or their husband, and then they have a job over here. Then now they're hiring Joey, who's a friend of a friend, and you just wasted that. I mean, there's so much. There's no thank you. You could have that. You could do that. I don't want to do that, but there's a lot of money in it. There's a lot of money in recruiting, and there's a lot of value to having the right person do it for you. But whether you hire someone to do top of funnel or recruitment, stop thinking you can do all this stuff yourself. Hire an expert like me or you. Take
True.
that soundbite and put it on your LinkedIn.
True. Michael, thank you. Thank you for your candid look. I love that you've built a sales-driven business. I love the stories, the tactics that you're employing, and everything sounds extremely familiar to me. Where should listeners go to learn more about you and the business?
Yeah, so it's Michael Falato. You can look me up, Michael Anthony Falato on LinkedIn. Phone number is 512-639-3375. And my email is michael@fullthrottleFalato.com. So it's pretty easy to find me. I also have a digital twin. It's delphi.ai/mfalato. So you can have a joyous time talking to my voice and everything I've ever learned and ask him questions as well.
Good. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Michael, for being our guest on the VCast, the Next Stage CEO.
Thanks, Henning. Take care. Bye bye.